Have a taste of your own goddamn medicine.
The reverse Uno card! It's been a while since we checked out any death battle videos, so I figured I might as well use this opportunity to catch up to the latest one released as I'm recording this video, which would be the Master Chief vs. Doomslayer. So yeah, expect to see those videos soon. But as for Ghost Rider vs. Spawn, this is a situation where I don't really know either character. I probably know more about Ghost Rider than I do Spawn, however, simply because I do recall watching the movie that Nicolas Cage starred in, and I've always thought that his design was very cool. Granted, after Serby showed me a few images of Spawn, Spawn also looks hella neat, but I'm still not too sure what his whole deal is and like where he stacks up when it comes to the power levels. So yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about them. But of course, this is a reaction video. Please make sure to go support the OG video before watching the reaction. Link to that is at the very top of the description, as always.
Ghost Rider versus Spawn.
The Spirit of Vengeance versus the Dark Angel of Armageddon.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons.
I honestly can't wait for Ghost Rider to show up in Marvel Rivals. If they ever use his kit, like anything from his kit, or even had the motorcycle, and I believe there's a version of Ghost Rider that uses a car. Not sure which one they would pick, but either way, I think it would be really cool. Hopefully they just don't make him into a duelist though. I think we have plenty of duelists as is.
Armor and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Johnny Blaze has always been a man possessed, chasing the thrill of certain doom by performing death-defying stunts, following the example of his adoptive father, Crash Simpson.
Until the day Crash lived up to his name and got
actually
cancer,
crashed.
heartbroken, and without enough
never
Wumpa
mind.
Fruit to save him, Johnny turned to the only thing that could. Emo's
The
Dark
therapy.
Arts.
Oh!
To cure Crash's cancer, Johnny sold his soul to Mephisto, king of the 8th layer of hell.
Only for Crash to actually live up to his name right after.
But instead of scooping up Johnny's soul, Mephisto had something else in mind. He bound Johnny to an instrument of divine wrath, Zarathos, the Spirit of Vengeance.
So Johnny Blaze lived up to his name and burst into Hellfire, an undead skeleton biker with a sick-ass
So
hug.
cool.
The 5th scariest Nick Cage performance, the stuntman from hell. He called himself the Daredevil.
Sorry,
Excuse
Johnny,
me?
that name's taken.
Okay,
Damn.
then how about the Ghost Rider?
Sure, we definitely didn't forget that we named the character the same thing only.
Oh, interesting. And this one I didn't know. I wonder what the situation here was. Did they simply just forget, or was it more like the Wild West when it came to comic book heroes? Just whatever cool idea you have, introduce them into the universe and see what sticks?
Only 5 years earlier. All you.
The Ghost Rider was bad news for Earth's sinners and scumbags. He's strong enough to pull down skyscrapers, blow up mountains, and cause earthquakes that can be felt across whole countries.
Don't even think about fighting back. He can remake his whole body from the hellfire that engulfs him, making him immune to all physical damage.
So, is it just impossible to defeat Ghost Rider? Because my imagination of Ghost Rider, and kind of being the embodiment of the Spirit of Vengeance, is that he's an unstoppable force that will eventually get you. It's sort of inevitable.
Only holy weapons that target his soul can harm him.
It's not just his body.
So there is a
his
way.
whole arsenal is hellfire. Ghosty can create
there a
anything he
game
can think
too?
of, from an infinite stream of chains, a shotgun packed with fiery rounds, or a flaming missile barbed right out of his mouth. Life goals.
And he can imbue other objects with hellfire, such as his Hell Cycle.
Oh, this badass bike can outpace Thor's hammer Mjolnir, which can cross the universe in seconds.
Hellfire is a weapon in and of itself, whether shot out of his hands, raining down from the sky, or released from his...
His
excuse
boner,
me?
Wiz. Get it? And it doesn't just scorch flesh. Hellfire is so deadly, it can burn away your very soul.
This technique would be mastered by Johnny's successor, his own brother, Danny Ketch.
Oh yeah, Johnny's not the only Ghost Rider, and Danny was the first to master their most famous move. You know, the one that burns your soul to smithereens with just a look.
Penance stare,
penance stare.
The penance stare.
This one I know about because there were a lot of videos that I watched on like characters that I'd like to see in Marvel Rivals and stuff like that. And the penance stare was something that did come up. Could be really cool as an ultimate. And I did learn from Serby that it is pretty OP. However, there are characters within the Marvel comic book universe that have beaten the penance stare or were unaffected by it. I don't remember exactly who, but it's not an insta-win move.
Inflicts upon its victims every ounce of pain they ever wreaked upon others. Every cruelty, no matter how small or righteous, is reflected back. A biblical punishment.
Obliterating your soul! It even works on other Ghost Riders, like when Johnny and Danny got into a staring contest and Danny actually depowered Johnny.
Eyes are windows to the soul, so the Ghost Rider must be able to match his victim's gaze for the penance stare to work. Some people have survived it, like the Punisher supposedly because he didn't regret.
There it is, yeah. I forgot. The Punisher was mentioned in the list of people who survived or beat the penance stare. Punisher is just built different, man.
His actions, but it did work on him on other occasions.
Well, Johnny can adjust how deadly it is, and it doesn't necessarily have to kill you. He can use the stare to read minds, force you to confess info, or just show you the error of your ways.
Remember, the Ghost Rider is two souls in one body, with the kinder Johnny battling the demon Zarathos in a war of control.
Classic Faustian bargain. All the power in the world, but if you want it, it uses you. Because if Johnny gives in, the demon's full might will take over, and then
I mean, hey, with great power comes great responsibility.
And everything is screwed.
Zarathos' strength is boundless. He can open up portals between dimensions, control the elements, penance stare an entire city, and fly all the way to Asgard, which is a literal infinite distance away.
He's manhandled some of Marvel's heaviest hitters, like Thor, World War Hulk, and Doctor Strange. Hell, Strange said Zarathos is a threat to all realms, mortal and immortal.
Hyperbole? Think again. The Archangel Zadkiel said that the power of the Ghost Rider could threaten all of existence, and even bring down heaven itself.
Right before an army of Ghost Riders did just that.
What?
Yeah, an army. The
How did this
spirits
happen?
of vengeance are legion.
As far back as the Great Flood,
God.
humans have been bonded to the vestiges of God's power to act as his divine wrath on Earth. A sort of heavenly black ops.
Okay, wait, does that make Zarathos an angel now? Or is he still a demon?
Like a fallen angel?
Neither. Despite being one of the greatest entities in existence, it's unclear. What we do know is that ages ago, Zarathos feasted on souls and battled Mephisto for rulership of his realm. Mephisto, ever the trickster, claimed victory and gained control of Zarathos forevermore. Hence how he could bond him to Johnny.
But Zarathos got his revenge against that big red bitch with another Ghost Rider, Alejandra Jones. Bet you wish you had one more day to fix that hole in your chest, huh?
Comic book fan punching bag though he may be, Mephisto is unbelievably powerful. A battle with him could cause omniversal Armageddon. Fitting as his fight with Galactus rents the cosmos asunder.
And Galactus' fights can destroy all of Marvel's infinite multiverse. That's the kind of awesome power at Zarathos' disposal. Total.
Jeez, I didn't realize Mephisto had a fight with Galactus of all people. And Galactus isn't really a being that anybody ever wants to fight. He's not the strongest thing out there in the universe, but on a scale of regular superheroes, he is nowhere near anything that anyone could beat. Or at least that was my impression from when I learned about the whole multiverse for the comic book universe.
Cosmic annihilation.
So it was no surprise when Johnny went down to the underworld and took Hell's throne for himself, usurping the devil that ruined his life and finally grabbing destiny by the handlebars.
Scoring the total power of Hell itself, plus a sick-ass upgrade, the Damnation Stare, which skips the whole every pain you've ever inflicted thing and just sends you straight to hell.
Yeah.
No shot.
As they say though, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Johnny began an obsessive crusade to capture all of Hell's escaped demons. But by using his new power to damn them to hell, he began absorbing their evil, feeding off of it, and it corrupted him. Once again, Johnny Blaze was a man possessed.
Damn. A classic story though, like, the person who has to deal with all of these evils losing themselves to the very evil that they vow to vanquish. Although I can't really blame the guy, he's already struggling against the spirit of vengeance.
In truth, Johnny was just as trapped by Hell's power as he'd always been, and he needed Danny's help to pull him out of the darkness.
Though he gave up Hell's throne, the Ghost Rider continues his war against demons without and within, mentoring his fellow Ghost Riders in the ways of vengeance, always prowling the highways for the evil and the profane.
An unstoppable engine of judgment that, with just a glance, could make Galactus himself shit his pants.
Maybe one day he'll find salvation in the eyes of one of his victims.
As they sure as hell won't find any in his.
I wonder what Galactus would feel if he got hit by the penance stare from Ghost Rider, because he is a being who basically consumes worlds, right? So how much pain and suffering has he caused for all the living beings on whatever worlds that he consumed?
This battle is sponsored by Robinhood Gold.
With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions.
The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%.
Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any network.
The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold.
Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match and must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Gotta get that money to get the
Al
animations.
Simmons was one thing, he was a killer.
A lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army and the CIA's most decorated assassin, Simmons upheld democracy around the globe at the barrel of a gun, painting the third world in red, white, and blue, but mostly red.
Until his final fateful mission when, per his boss's orders, Al was fired.
The burning was only getting started because Al's
Like
immortal soul was
betrayal?
on a one-way trip to hell.
Where he
Yikes,
cut a
dude.
deal with Malvosia, the big naked.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I remember. Serby showed me like a screenshot of a funny looking CGI demon from a really old TV show where Spawn was the star. I think it aired even before I was born. It looked pretty funny, but you know, it was a work of the times.
Lord of the Eighth Circle of Hell.
By their pact, Simmons would be reborn a Hellspawn, a superpowered commander of Hell's armies, in exchange for seeing his wife one more time.
Oh, buddy,
Damn.
you're just asking to get monkey's pod.
Al Simmons returned
Right?
from the dead as a decaying zombie 5 years later, after his wife had already remarried and had a daughter.
There, you
Oh, poor
saw
guy.
her. Now get back to work, bitch.
Thus was born the undead warrior from hell itself, Spawn.
Bro, we make some of the worst decisions ever for love. So, this is interesting because you're technically the commander of all of Hell's forces. So, during the battle later on, are we going to actually have the armies of Hell rise up and attack Ghost Rider? But then again, Ghost Rider specifically specializes in hunting down the demons that escape from Hell, so I don't know how useful that's going to be.
He's so 90s that he comes all the way back around to being the coolest thing ever. Look upon his edge, wizard, and despair.
Spawn would violently defend New York's downtrodden, while slowly uncovering
Oh.
the full
Wait, that's interesting. He's the longest running independent comic book character. I don't really read comic books, so I'm not quite sure what it means to be an independent character. Does this mean he's not like tied to Marvel or DC? Or is it that he's not affiliated with any sort of group within whatever universe that he exists in?
breadth of his demonic powers.
He's like a walking superpower encyclopedia. He can fly, teleport, turn invisible and intangible, move things with his mind, make force fields, control the elements and the weather, and even stop time. Speaking of time, he
The frick? What can he do? How do you fight this guy then?
can fly so fast, he literally breaks into other dimensions and smashes time as a concept.
He can manipulate matter, shape-shifting his own body or transmuting other
That's
objects.
pretty cool.
He can even control and absorb your soul.
Wait, Wiz, if he can rearrange molecules and crap, why doesn't he just fix his uggo face?
Well, he tried to do that, but Malbolgia cursed
It
him so
doesn't
that he
work
could
on
only
him.
make himself.
What the? Not again. This can't be. I'm a black man. Oh no. I don't know how I feel about this one. It's certainly a cruel joke, but like, what else are you gonna expect from the demons of hell?
Oh, it's petty trolling like that gets you a throne in hell.
To be fair,
Yeah.
Spawn can achieve a similar result with illusions and mental manipulation. He can read and control minds, implant and replace memories, or simply drive you mad.
Spawn can do all of this crazy shit because he runs on necroplasm. Basically, hell juice.
You're not wrong. Necroplasm is the energy that makes up hell itself. Al's undead body is composed of 400 pounds of it.
He can wield it like an energy blaster empowered by the sins of others. Spawn can absorb your evil and feed off of it. By simply walking on Earth, Spawn feels all of humanity's pain all at once.
He's even absorbed the sins
Oh,
of
God.
8 million New Yorkers instantly, cleansing
Oh, 8 million New Yorkers, all of their sins? That must be excruciatingly painful. But man, Spawn's design is really, really cool. Like, I like the cape, however impractical it may actually be in like a live action setting. But I understand now why Sorby was like, yeah, it looks cool, but you don't want to be Spawn.
them of their evil.
Like Jesus?
Or he can do the reverse and make you experience the full weight of your own sins, feeling every bit of pain you've
Just
ever
like the,
inflicted on others over your whole life.
The ability
Like
from Ghost Rider,
Some
the penance
sort
stare.
of penance.
Though Spawn's
Yeah.
necroplasm comes with a catch.
Yeah, he's got unlimited amount of the stuff, and it drains every time he uses his powers. If he runs out, he's dragged back to hell.
Even depowered, Spawn
Oh,
can rely on his
interesting.
elite military
Wait a minute. So he can run out of juice and then get sent back to hell. So does that mean that the way to beat him is through a battle of attrition? As long as you survive long enough and force him to use his powers? But then again, with the amount of powers that he has, would that even be possible? Is there some sort of system where he has to spend more of this energy from hell if he tries to use some of the more powerful abilities as a way to like balance his character?
training in hand-to-hand combat. He's even fought Batman to a standstill.
And as befits his past profession, he loves his big-ass 90s guns.
Though his
Hell
greatest
yeah.
weapon is the sentient being he's genetically and spiritually bonded to, his cloak. Letha of the 7th house of
Oh, wait a minute. The cloak itself is also a character. Now that I did not know. And it makes sense why the cloak is such a prominent figure within Spawn's design then.
K. You ever wonder why his cape's red? Nope, well, now you are, and it's red because it's made from the apple Eve ate in the Garden of Eden. It's literally
Oh.
made of original sin. Oh, and also the souls
Damn.
of a million sinners, including every one of Hell's victims. Also a touch of vampire for good measure.
K7 Letha is constantly evolving. It can act independently to defend Spawn with an infinite stream of chains, transform into weapons, or drain people of their power. It
What
is the
the
most
frick?
potent weapon Hell has ever created.
Wait, drain people of their power too? I don't think that Ghost Rider has any similar ability to this, so can we just sap his power away from him? You know, I think even Edna Mode could probably agree that the exception to the no capes rule is this cape. This one seems pretty freaking cool.
Even helped Spawn beat the primordial dark god Urizen, who can destroy and eat your soul with just a glare.
Except the souls bonded to Spawn acted as a buffer, allowing him to survive.
You'd think with an arsenal like that, he'd be unstoppable. But Hellspawns have a weakness to holy weapons and can be killed permanently if decapitated by one.
Though Spawn
Oh.
has managed to survive this in the past. No, Spawn's greatest weakness is his own, how do I put this? Stupidity.
So Spawn fought this
What?
angel lady, Angela. Great name for an angel.
Right, yeah.
She had this dimensional lance that could wipe Hellspawn out of existence, and Spawn got it. But instead of, being cautious around a mysterious angel weapon that hurts him, he just had to push the big shiny button and activate it on himself.
And so, Spawn was forever destroyed until he reconfigured reality to undo his own inexistence.
There we are. Good.
Oh. What? Excuse me? This was actually a thing that happened in the comics? Oh, what does this button do? Oh no, it erases me from existence. Let me just revert that, Control Z. Maybe the whole point is that he's just so powerful that he doesn't regard his own safety. Either that or just the original guy who's supposed to be this super elite assassin for the CIA actually wasn't very smart, which I find highly unbelievable.
Is new. That has to be the first time we've seen someone accidentally kill themselves and survive.
On his quest as Hell's greatest warrior, Spawn has defeated a serial killer ice cream man, a demonic clown, and even his old boss remade by Heaven into an anti-Spawn. He's even encountered other Hellspawn.
Killing bad guys might seem counterintuitive if you work for a Hell Lord, but it actually just adds more souls to Malvosia's army. An army Spawn would have to lead in a war with Heaven that had killed all of humanity.
Because the reason Malvosia chose Al to be his commander wasn't that he was some great warrior. It was because Al had proven that he was the best at taking orders.
All his life and all his death, Al was nothing more than a hired gun.
But he
that makes a lot of sense, actually. With his training, what he had to do, just do it without question, kill whoever you are ordered to do so. This poor guy, man. He just wanted to see his wife one more time. But it was a super bad deal. Which honestly, because he accepted that deal in the first place, it might have been a hint towards his actual way of thinking, which is just very, very different. But certain decisions that I certainly wouldn't agree with.
He knew it, and he would do so no more.
So Spawn marched down to Hell and ripped Malvosia's head off with a scream so loud it echoed through all of reality. Spawn became the king of the 8th circle of Hell.
As king, Spawn is literally a part of Hell itself, gaining access to an unlimited pool of energy that increases 100-fold with every heartbeat. He's effectively omnipotent in there, and strong enough to challenge other Hell Lords like Mammon and Satan.
But I was gonna say, yeah, this fixes the problem of him losing energy when he's in the overworld, but nah, I guess it just applies only when he's in Hell. So as long as you're not fighting in his home turf, you'll probably maybe have a chance.
That's so strong. The only thing left was to finally resolve the war between Heaven and Hell.
But Spawn needed help from the being who created this god and Satan to begin with, the mother of existence, Gaia.
She wasn't cool with her kids being total assholes, so she appointed Spawn to be the universe's savior.
By eating the fruit from the tree of life, Spawn became truly divine, capable of battling God and Satan in a stalemate for eternity that extinguished all life on Earth.
And each of them are powerful enough to create and control infinitely sized universes.
Spawn broke the stalemate by letting God and Satan destroy him, only for Gaia to separate the two from the reality they threatened.
Then, just like that time with the Lance, Spawn respawned and recreated the Earth. Poof, good as new.
Finally freed of the weight of Heaven and Hell, Al asked to be reborn as a human. But he knew in his heart he deserved to carry on his undead penance in perpetuity.
He's a creature of the 90s, Wiz. He won't be happy unless he can angstily brood over the injustice of his own existence.
Though if you threaten the alley he calls home, beware, because Spawn will turn whatever's left of your life into a living hell.
Okay, who wins this? With all the details that I just learned, I'm more inclined to believe that Spawn is going to take this. Because how do you defeat somebody who, at one point in their career, recreated existence? Like, sure, Ghost Rider fighting off Galactus is pretty cool, but like, this is, I feel like a bit of a different level. Granted, I don't know anything about the DC comics, so maybe they're more so comparable. But as an outsider looking in, I think Spawn takes this easy.
This battle is sponsored by DraftKings.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the
Of
data
course,
through
they're in
all
Fortnite.
It's
possibilities.
time for one hell of a death battle!
Oh, that's cute.
Nights like these drive men insane. Brimstone in the air. Something's coming. If it wants a piece of me, there'll be hell to pay.
I see what you did there.
Go back to the pit you squirmed from, Hellspawn.
Make me.
Oh my god. Why is this music so good already? I also gotta love the animation style here.
If you care, it's nothing personal. Vengeance calls.
Is the number on the top left here like his power, or his remaining energy?
Sloppy, you fight like a bum.
You've earned your damnation.
Oh yeah, the penance stare. I sent back to Hell. Infinite energy now. Unlimited supply, unfortunately, for
Welcome to
Ghost
hell.
Rider over here. Stopping time. Just with the time stopping effects, it literally made me think of Dio. I thought there was gonna be a reference right there. And it was also kind of a road roller moment too.
I'll be damned. Yes, you will.
Get over here! A classic line. I should learn about Mortal Kombat someday. Yeah, what are you gonna do against that?
Cannot disguise your wickedness. God forbid.
Ooh, yikes.
Simmons, your sins are innumerable. I am here to wreak vengeance upon your soul.
Oh, never mind.
Sin for breakfast. Have a taste of your own goddamn medicine.
Reverse Uno card!
Lies. He's the Prince of Lies. Wait, I'm an innocent.
Yeah, I don't see how Spawn loses this. Yeah, all the pain that you committed and you've put into this world. Ooh, yeah, it's over. Right?
It's like you said, nothing personal, asshole.
Okay, expected.
Damn.
Literally. This was a nail-biter of a battle that pitted Ghost Rider's immeasurable power against Spawn's skill and versatility. Let's break this down into 4 categories.
First up, power. Divine Spawn could match God and Satan, who could create
Yeah.
universes. Similar in scale to Ghost Rider's bouts with a lot of the powerhouses in Marvel.
But Zarathos was different. Remember, his power can match that of Mephisto and Galactus, who can threaten all of Marvel's infinite cosmic reality, far greater than any cosmos Spawn has ever affected. Even though Spawn's battled and
Interesting.
defeated Satan in more recent comics, implying he's retained a level of power similar to his divine form, he couldn't match Zarathos in power alone.
Ghost Rider may take power, but remember,
Gotcha.
Johnny actively
Yeah, that one, I guess I didn't really think of it in the terms of the multiverses. Like, yeah, Spawn did recreate the universe, but considering the scale of things, what Ghost Rider did was more impressive.
Resists Zarathos' influence, so Spawn may have had time in the fight to learn and adapt to Ghost Rider before he went full Blue Fury.
And Spawn definitely had the edge in skill. He spent decades in
Yeah,
military
he's
combat and is a
actual
master
fighter.
martial artist, whereas Johnny more so relies on his invincibility.
The ultimate dream power for a stuntman. Even with his crazy powers, Ghost Rider was a lot more direct than Spawn, pretty much entirely focused on attacking the soul.
Which doesn't bode well for his versatility. Spawn can stop time, manipulate matter, turn intangible, control
he's
minds,
got
warp reality.
way too many
The Ghost Rider had a
abilities.
much
Yeah.
more limited arsenal by comparison. Spawn had a huge advantage in this category.
Though with his invincibility, way greater power, and the ability to scorch your soul to nothing, Ghost Rider could score the win through brute force, right?
Not exactly. The last piece of the puzzle is their resistances.
I mean, Spawn literally Uno reverse card a weapon that would kill him, and it did kill him, but then it didn't. So, yeah, I don't think you're getting rid of Spawn.
Basically, who was harder to kill? Spawn's constant mainlining of humanity's collective sin and pain meant he could survive attacks on his soul, including the penance stare, just like he resisted a very similar attack from Urizen.
Best of all, remember
Interesting, yeah, the penance stare, it culminates all of the pain that you've inflicted upon others and just shoots you with all of it, but, like, that's just Spawn's existence, so it wouldn't really mean much.
the time he rewrote reality to undo his own inexistence?
There was nothing the Ghost Rider could do to overpower that. And that time with the lance wasn't planned, it was purely instinctual. He could replicate it any time he wanted, like in his fight with God and Satan.
So how do you put Spawn down for good? Well, you can't. At least Johnny and Zarathos couldn't.
Unlike how Ghost Rider's soul has been vulnerable to attack before, like when Danny used the penance stare to depower Johnny.
This sort of thing actually happens a lot, even in recent comics. The whole reason Johnny and Zarathos are bonded in the first place is because Zarathos' soul was manipulated by Mephisto.
And not only does Spawn have plenty of experience manipulating souls, he can replicate the effect of the penance stare itself.
And just think about that. A penance stare on Zarathos would mean he's feeling the pain from every penance stare that he's ever done.
As a spirit
penance
of vengeance.
Squared.
The damnation
ultimate
stare,
Uno
on the other
reverse.
hand, actively helped Spawn, sending him to hell where he gets a literal infinite power boost.
And it wa-
Okay, yeah, no. Earlier on in the fight, I thought that was a penance stare. No, that was a damnation one. Really bad move that we gave our opponent more power.
wasn't just Spawn's soul powers that had spelled trouble. He had other ways to bypass Ghost Rider's immortality too, like transmutation, rewriting reality, or just straight up stealing his powers, which has worked on multiple Ghost Riders in the past.
Giving Spawn the final edge. Zarathos was almost unbeatable, a massive
didn't even
power
see the
advantage,
stealing of
soul
powers.
destruction, immortality, but Spawn could counter everything thrown at him, and was too unkillable for Zarathos' strength advantage to matter in the long run against his crazier abilities.
That was one hell of a fight, and at least Johnny went out in a blaze of glory.
The winner is Spawn.
I also think Spawn's design is just really damn cool, so I might check out more things that he's in. Or maybe did he ever become like a guest character in Mortal Kombat? If you guys know of anything cool that Spawn actually features in, please do let me know. I'd love to check it out in my own time. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.